Good evening, everyone. Am I audible to all of you? Please respond. Can you all hear me? Yes? All right. So let's start the today's session, the first session on decision making. And this section is actually a very story section. All right. You can score a lot of marks in this particular section. All right. So let's start. So we'll be starting with, I'll be starting with a few very basic examples. Now, if you want to do well in the decision making, the only thing is that just attend all the 12 to 13 sessions which I'm going to take it at it will be more than enough. Besides this, you have already got a mock from where you can practice the decision making questions or from the sectional test of the decision making. So let's start with the very basics here. First of all, we'll start with examining a case study. I'll take a simple example. With the help of that particular example, I'll explain what all concepts are required to crack this particular section. Then understand the 5-step process in decision making. Walk through the 5-step process. Then gain familiarity through examples. Some of the reasons behind eliminating options. What are the reasons on the basis of which we can eliminate few of the option classes, and so on. It is more like a reading comprehension, a mixture of reading comprehension and the logical reasoning. Okay, and how to select the options. For example, it might be possible that two options are very, very close to each other. If the two options are very, very close to each other, then how to decide which one is the better one. So we'll discuss which option we should select, whether we should select the ideal options or practical options. So introduction to decision making here. Now remember that most of the time the questions here, it is nothing but it is basically based on a case study, a word-based case study. Okay? And it involves a completely different kind of logic altogether. It's not a rule-based logic. Okay? So it is not you cannot apply any particular funda or any particular rule like the way we are applying to the QA section, okay, or maybe the grammar section. So you cannot apply all these logics here. So it basically, it's more of a logic. Okay. How to use a logic in a practical situation or maybe in a business scenario or in a work case, whenever you are doing certain kind of things here. So like I said here, it features a word-based case study. The decision-making process involves altogether a different kind of logic, not the rule-based logic, but it's a logic that helps us make actual practical decisions in work or business. Now, here the question is basically, it's nothing but a hypothetical situation will be given to you. A hypothetical question related with a hypothetical situation. And followed by your 4 to 5 different options. Usually in that you will be getting 5 different options here. Take care. And this case studies, it can be from anywhere. It can be from ethics to business to HR to psychology. It can be anything. But the important point is here is that nowadays, not nowadays, in fact, since very beginning, let's say there are 25 questions which are in the analytical decision making section. So most of the questions, around 17 to 18 questions, or I say 80%, 90% of the question is based on something related with the HR or something based on the decision, case-based, word-based case study. Approximately 10% of the questions, it might be based on the logical reasoning. Okay. So logical reasoning, when we solve the last couple of papers from the decision making section, you can see. And also at times there can be a question based on the probability also. So in today's session, we'll focus more on the HR-based case studies. All right. So can I move to the next slide? Please respond. All of you. Let's keep responding. That is very, very important. All right. Let's move to the next part. Let's start with a very, very simple case study, which I have taken from a XAT paper itself. Okay. Just go through it. Seema was a finance manager in an MNC and felt that gender discrimination at the workplace hampered her career growth. Frustrated, she quit the job and started a new company. While starting her company, she decided that she would have an equal proportion of males and females. Over the last 6 years, Seema emerged as a very successful entrepreneur and expanded her business to 8 locations in the country. However, Seema recently started facing an ethical dilemma because she realized that female employees were not willing to travel across cities and work late hours, as the work required them to do so. Male employees did not hesitate undertaking such work. Seema started to feel the pressure of reducing the proportion of female employees. On the other hand, she is aware that equal representation was one of the strongest reasons for her to have founded the company. Okay. The question is there is, what should she do as a conscientious female entrepreneur? Can anyone tell me what should she do? Okay. Let me give you the option questions here. Okay. What are the 5-step process? The first is nothing but reading the case study. Okay. Now remember, if you want to perform well in the decision making, try to attend all the sessions live. Instead of watching the recording, it's advisable that you should attend the sessions live. Because if you are trying to attend the session live, then you will came to know the viewpoint of the other people also. Okay, and almost all the case studies, it will take a lot of discussions will be there. At times you might not be agree with my point of view, and maybe I will not agree with your point of view, but finally we will take a certain decision that which is the best option for us here. So it requires a lot of discussion. So participate in the discussions. Okay, चुपचाप बैठ के सुनते मत रहना. Whatever you think, please write it here. Okay, for each and every question. Because if you participate in a discussion, then only your decision making ability will improve. So the first thing is reading the case study. Let's read the case study. So read the case study, highlight all the relevant points, get a basic understanding, assimilate and correlate the facts, and pay attention to the nuances. While reading, try to, now that is very, very important. While reading, you should always try to put yourself in the shoes of the people involved. Okay. Like for example, if in a particular case study, 2 to 3 different people are there, so try to put yourself in the shoes of the people who are involved here. Cases can be long and have many facts to analyze, particularly in the time available in the exam situation. So focus on getting the overview while reading the case. All right. Reading the question. Since the case study may have more than one question, it is important not to get lost in its detail and to understand what exactly is being asked. At times, it's better that you should go through the questions first. If there are 4 to 5 questions, go through the case studies and then go to the questions. The third step, I can say analyzing the options. The options of a typical decision-making questions are not right, wrong, or black or white. Now, almost all the options, you cannot say, okay, that this particular option is right or this particular option is wrong. Every option has a shades of gray. It can be either black or white. कुछ भी हो सकता है. So you should be very, very careful here. All options, including the wrong ones, will be framed keeping in mind that they are relevant to the situation explained in the case study. However, there will be certain and most probably very subtle difference between them. While reading every option, you have to take note of these. So like I said, all the options are correct, but you need to identify the best options. From different persons, all the different options are correct. And we'll see when we start discussing the case studies that. Next point, which is important here, eliminating options. Okay, that we'll see. This is the most important process as it helps you narrow down to the most sensible options, keeping your analysis of the case studies and the question asked at the back of your mind. Go through the options, try to look for points that make less agreeable in comparison to see other options. There are many things that can make an option seem worthy of the elimination. These are elaborated in the later section of the presentations that we'll see with the help of the different examples how to eliminate the option procedure. And the last point I'll say, verifying your answer. Once you identify the answer, always it's important to verify your answers. Because in that you get enough time. You will be getting 170 minutes. So even for 25 questions, you can easily devote 50 minutes. 50 minutes is more than enough to solve 25% based on the decision making. Can I move to the next part? Okay. Now, so we all know, you all have read the case studies. If you want to read it again, please read it and then we'll move to the options. I'll give you 1 minute. Please read it again. Those who have joined late. Read the options carefully. Okay, can I move to the next slide? Let's start with the first option. reading the case studies, I'm just trying to analyze all the important points I'm just studying here. Seema quit her job because she faced gender discrimination in the company. That was the first point. The second point, she founded a new company based on the principle of equal representation of men and women. Now remember this line is very important, equal representation of men and women. The third point, the case studies puts no other reason for Seema to start her own company. The only reason for which Seema has started the company is because of the gender bias and equal representation of it. Her company was highly successful and it spreads to other locations in the country. For 6 years of the company functioning, she faced no issues. So for the first 6 years, there was no issues in her company at all, and so she was also very successful. She has recently started facing a dilemma. Her female employees are unwilling to work late hours or travel across cities, an important requirement at work, while their male counterparts do not hesitate in undertaking such work. The case study does not specify any other criteria in which female employees are found lacking. So now, you must observe that there is only one area. These are the two areas that the women cannot work till late in the night, or they cannot travel across the different cities. These are the only two things in which women are not very much comfortable. Otherwise, they are as good as the male employees of a company. And Seema is running a successful, now this is also important, her business is a very successful and is pressured to reduce the proportion of female to male employee as is her requirement. The dilemma lies in the fact that she will be going against the reasons for which she had envisioned founding a new company. Okay, that is the dilemma. That her company, she has founded a company, the only reason she founded a company was because of the equal representation of men and women and for gender discrimination. So that was the dilemma which she is facing now. So we can we say that by the structure of case study, it can be assumed that Seema originally had faced the same problem that her female employees will face if she decides to reduce the proportion of female employees. Please tell me yes or no. Because initially she faced gender bias and gender discrimination, so she will, okay. However, one thing clearly stands out. While Seema did not complain at all about nature of her work, her employees are the ones who are unwilling to undertake certain tasks. Let's move to the options now. Can I move to the next question? Next slide. Okay. Now, reading the question. What should Seema do as a conscientious female entrepreneur? Okay. So I can say the question is a very straightforward question here and has no underlying interpretation. It simply asks what line of action Seema should follow to solve her dilemma. Can anyone tell me? I'm not giving the option. The option is not given. What do you think? What should Seema do? Please tell me. Asima is saying distribute work. Okay. Anyone else? Desk job to females. Anjali is saying desk job to females. Okay. Divide the work. Shubham is saying distribute the work, divide the work. Both of them are. She should allow work from home for female employees. Okay. Work from home. But Rohit, tell me one thing. यहाँ पे तो in the entire passage, just anywhere they have talked about the work from home, नहीं ना? Okay, you are saying for late night hours. That's right. But what if the late night work at the late night hour if the work required something which she needs to do at the office? So anyway, let's see. Two things to be noted in the questions are use of the word consensus. It means in accordance with the one consensus or principles. And the second point is reference to the Seema as a female entrepreneur. This implies that her status as an entrepreneur, not just as a woman, is responsible for making a sensible decision. Okay. According to her principles as well as an entrepreneur. So this is the first option. So based on these 2 points, it can be seen that both the sides of her dilemma are equally balanced as she has to act according to her principles which are in conflict with her decision as an entrepreneur. So this is the first option. Now tell me, can this option be the answer? Think. Option 1. I'm not giving all the 5 options simultaneously. Just think. See if unwilling female employees could be given assignments which do not require travel and involve less time. हो सकता है? Can this be the answer? Please tell me. Yes. So it may be okay. Okay, see if unwilling female employees could be given assignment which do not require travel and involvement. Like Akshay is saying, I'm saying this can be the possible answer. It cannot. Can you reject it right away? Like Akshay is saying, no, the work requires overtime. How can you say that the work requires overtime? Akshay, on what grounds you are saying that the work requires overtime? The question is here, see, it's not like we are saying that, okay, just do that. See if unwilling female employees could be given assignment which do not require travel and involve less overtime. Okay, so that might be the answer, I think. You all are agree? Yes, that might be the answer. Okay. This implies, now just try to understand why this might be. This implies that no restructuring in hiring that will impact the sex ratio is being done. Because in that case, we are not firing any female employees, so the sex ratio of 50% of male female, it will be maintained. This option aims at reallocating work among existing employees in such a way that male employees get assignment that involves travel and late hours, while the female one gets assignments that do not involve these two things. So yes, that might be the answer. And we will see if there is some other option which is better than this, then probably we'll go for that particular option. But this can be the answer. Now, second, reduce the number of female employees as it is a business requirement. She should not let anything affect her business. Can this be the answer? Can I right away reject this option? Yes, we all can reject. It's too extreme. Yes. Also, you should always try to avoid the option which is very, very extreme. The phrase reduce the number over here can mean only one thing, that the female employees who refuse such assignments be asked to leave the company. And there is no mention of reducing the proportion that should have implied hiring more males here. So I think this option can be rejected right away. Let's move to the option B. Let the status quo continue. Can this be the answer? No. It means what? Like jaisa chal raha hai chalne do. It's just like this. Okay. So this is a simple option that says a lot. It says that a dilemma that is currently a dilemma will cease to be a dilemma later. So of course we can neglect this option. This can't be answered. Henceforth hire only male employees. Can this be the answer? Again, no. The proportion of the males will increase. We have to maintain the ratio of males and females. Okay. And the fifth option, C should close the business. Can this be the answer? No. Again, this is a very extreme. So here the options are very, very easy. Okay. So think is as it reads, Seema gets annoyed and after 6 years of hard work and commitment decided. So I think the answer is nothing but option number 1. So this was a very, very easy question. I've just taken a very simple example to explain the basic fundamentals. Can I move to the next slide? Okay. So eliminating option, it is important to start the eliminating the option based on the things that do not fit into our analysis of the situation so far. So we have already discussed, okay, option number 1 is the best option. It is really strong. It is the perfect middle path between the two extremes of simultaneity. It does not reduce the proportion of female employees, which is in accordance with the village system. It also helps us streamline a company's work process by optimizing the workload on employees based on personal preference. And there is nothing wrong with this part. So answer has to be option number 1, as we have already discussed. Okay. Now, wherever there is some option which is very extreme in nature, it's better to avoid such type of the options, like option number 2. Can I move to the next point? Next slide. You all can read it quickly. Option number 3. Status quo, continue. ये भी नहीं हो सकता, that we had already discussed. Okay, Subham is asking, sir, but the issue is that the Seema left the job because she felt gender discrimination. In that case, if men are going to do more work than the ladies, they will get more benefited. So it can raise the same feeling in the female employees, discrimination. If men are going to do more work, Subham, where it has been given that men are going to do more work? कहाँ पे given है? Let's say if I go back to the first option, does the first option says that men are going to do more work? No. Men are not going to do the more work. Okay? It says, see if unwilling female employees could be given assignment which do not here. So it is basically nothing but you are simply shuffling the positions, you can say. How can you say that the men are going to put more effort? Women are okay. If the women are doing some desk jobs or anything in which she's not required to travel or anything else, okay. So in that case also, working late it doesn't mean that okay. What will happen if you are working in a night shift, Subham? So working in a night shift, does it mean that you are working, you are putting some extra effort? No. There are three shifts in a job. Okay, nowadays we get night allowances for that. नहीं ऐसा तो नहीं होता कि night allowances मिलते हैं. Even the day allowances भी मिलते हैं in certain companies. Yeah, even you get the day allowances also. Yes or no? Those people who are working in certain MNCs, they get a day allowances also. Lunch, for the dinner, they'll get a cab services and everything. So it doesn't matter at all. It is nothing but it is simply, it says, and it's just try to understand. See if unwilling female employees could be given assignments. That is important here. Okay. And also one more thing which you need to understand, Subham, from the given options, which is the best option. If you think there is some option which is better than the option one, we can mark that one. So you cannot, like I said, there is nothing right or wrong. Almost all the options are correct. But among the given options, we need to select the best options. So among all the options which are provided to us, the option number one is the best option. Okay. So, now, henceforth hire only male employees. Now, this seems like a strong option 2. It is not as extreme as option 2. But again, the problem that we have already discussed it, that why it can't be the answer. Can I move to the next slide? Fifth point here. She should close the business. Again, it's a very, very extreme option. So, should I move to the next slide now? Now verify your answer. So ये तो easy था. So you all know. We have already discussed. How to eliminate the options? That is reason behind eliminating options. The first thing, unclear in their meaning. At times options are too vague to be useful. They are minimally worded and are generally on the right path. But the unclear nature of these options can lead to a multiple possibilities. A question that demands the most suitable mode of action cannot have an indistinct answer. These options are the most difficult to distinguish as they seem right at the first look. A comprehensive analysis of such an option often gives way to the inherent flaws. Now, probably you can understand all these, whatever the theoretical part which I'm going to explain here, once we start solving the question, because it's very easy to write anything. But once we start solving the questions, then only we can understand how to eliminate the option. Severe by nature, any option which is very, very extreme, always try to avoid that options that we have seen in this example. These are the easiest to eliminate. Can I move to the next point? Next slide. Third point, similar to each other. At times, what will happen is that the two or three, okay, one or two of the options, they are worded differently, but their meanings are actually same. So you can also eliminate such type of the options. Like two options that mean the same is one of the most repeated tricks in the question makers. The recipe is simple: take an incorrect option and word it differently. The duplicate option will behave in every way like its parent because its appearance will be modified to give it to a new. Right way you can eliminate. Completion by nature, option like, let's say the status quo will continue. So at times an option will add nothing to a problem statement. That we have seen the option number 4 in the previous example. It basically asks you to let the things continue the way they are going. If you analyze this logically, you will realize how redundant such an action could be. Can I move to the next slide? Okay. And any option which is not at all related with the questions, you can easily eliminate those options also. So let's start now solving the questions. Chale, start kare practice. Now, the one question which always arises, which is the best option? Whether I should select a practical versus ideal. Please go through this slide quickly. We'll understand all these reasons once we start solving the question. Now, practical or ideal? What should be selected? Remember, can anyone tell me? if there are two options which are very, very close to each other, so which option we should select, the practical one or the ideal one? Okay. Always the ideal one. Always the ideal, not the practical. Because XLRI focus a lot on ethics. Okay? So it's better to select the ideal. How many times you have narrowed down your options to the last two and have had no clue what to do next? Okay? Or how many times have you realized later that it was because you missed something in your analysis that actually caused you to land in that situation? Or decision making, however, distinguishes itself in this regard. There are times when the two options that you narrow down to are both equally valid decisions. This increases the level of difficulty. So what to do in such type of the cases here? Now, decision-making question works primarily on logic and should be treated like all other questions of an entrance exam. However, there may be the case in which the correct answers to a question might depend on an individual perspective. In such cases, it is generally easy to narrow down to two options, one of which is idealistic, whereas the other practical. And if all logic fails, okay, and both these options are flawlessly perfect, the way to get out of this muddle is to choose the more idealistic answer. Or the other way is leave the question. Okay. But it's always advisable to select the more idealistic answer. Don't look left, don't look right, just mark it, because XLRI focuses a lot on ethics here. However, it should be noted that before doing so, you should have analyzed all these options thoroughly and tested them for all the things mentioned earlier in this slide here. And this is the last one. So, can I start with the questions now? Okay. So, be confident and trust your instincts. Decision making will be a breeze, that we'll see. Now, it might, since this is the first session, it might be possible that you are getting a lot of answers wrong. But after 3 to 4 sessions, you will be confident of your answers. This is the second question. Now, before I start solving the questions, no one is going to tell the answers. Okay? You need to mark your answers in the poll. So I'm going to start a poll for each of the questions. You need to mark a poll. Okay. Okay. For each of the options. Okay. And for each question, how much time I should give since we are starting? So I think around 3 minutes is sufficient. 3 minutes for every question. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to open the questions. Okay. You need to. No one will write the answers there, because what will happen if you write down the answers? If someone will write A, what will happen that almost all the people will start writing A, because someone will think, okay, that let's say Atul has given the answer A, so mera bhi answer A hi hona chahiye. So please try to avoid that, all these things. So that's why we'll go for the poll. You need to mark your answers in the poll, and then we can see what is the answer. All right. So this is the first question in front of your screen. I will start the poll, and you need to mark your answers. The poll will be open for 3 minutes only, and it's so the poll has started. You all can start marking your answers. Please do that. Can you all hear me now? Okay. So as you can see, 37% of you had marked option number 1, 2% has marked option number 2, 15% has marked option number 3, 22% of the Janta has marked 4, and 22% of it marked 5. So most of you have marked the answer as 1. Okay. Only 2% of you had marked option number 2. Okay. So I think ये तो आंसर वैसे भी नहीं हो सकता. That option is I can right away reject it. जो तुमने मार्क किया है पूजा वही करेक्ट है. Can you tell me which options did you mark? E. अच्छा, चलो देखते हैं. Now let's see here. So just wait. Try to understand here. When Mr. X visited his manufacturing unit after a gap of few years, he found, now it is very well, he found that his factory manager had at regular interval disposed of the scrap. So he has already found that his factory manager has at a regular interval disposed of the scrap and distributed the money among the workers. Okay. So since he has already found out that, okay, that whatever he is doing, okay, he is selling all the scraps and then distributing all the money among the workers. So Mr. X sacked the factory manager and appointed a new one. Because of this action, the worker went on strike. What will we do if we are in case of Mr. X? So like I told you, 37% of you, maximum of you had marked this option. So let's analyze this option. Okay. When you say find out the reason for the manager's misconduct. So when you are saying that find out the reason for the manager's misconduct, so it means, can you say you all are agreeing, all these 37% of you agree that manager has done something misconduct? Yes or no? He has done certain, because it says, okay, find out the reasons for manager's misconduct. So you know that the manager has done something wrong. Okay. So if the manager has done something wrong, so or can you say he has done something illegal? Here he has done something which is illegal basically. So if you already knew, just try to place yourself here. If you already knew that the manager has done something wrong, so anything which has been wrong, which has been done wrongly by the manager, can it be in the interest of company? Please tell me. If the manager has done something wrong, okay, can it be in the interest of the company? So can you say it is actually contradicting if they are found to be not in the interest of company? Of course, it is not in the interest of the company. Okay. Explain the matter to the workers and request them not to strike for the legitimate reasons here. So now tell me, can this be the answer? So you can straight away reject this answer. The answer can't be option number 1. So option 1 basically states that what the manager did is illegal. And Mr. X did not find it necessary to conduct an inquiry for this reason. The manager is already sacked. If the action is illegal, it cannot be in the company's interest. So therefore, the option 1 is eliminated. So any doubts, any queries regarding the option 1? Can I move to the next part? Okay. 2. It says, explain to the workers that such behaviors will not be tolerated in the company and the managers not use. Promise to increase their pay to make up for the losses. Okay. I think 2% of you have promised to increase their pay to make up for the losses. What is the loss? Whether there was any loss to the workers, can anyone tell me? No, that is nothing but it is basically some extra money. So how it is a loss? Okay. It's not like that we are deducting the salary of a worker. Are we deducting the salary of the worker? Not at all. So there is no loss at all. Okay. So of course the answer can't be this one. So we can straight away, this is not the answer. And 2% of you had marked all these over here. So option 2 is incorrect because promising to pay the worker to make up for this loss, their loss is illogical. There was actually no loss, but only an illegal misappropriation of the funds. So there was no loss. Now, I'm going back to these 3 options. So now we already know the answers can't be option number 1. It can't be option number 2. Ab bache mere paas 3, 4, 5. Now, any one of you want to change the answers? Please change it and now tell me what should be the correct options. You have got option 3, option 4, option 5. So, okay, some of you are saying 3, Rohit, Mayank and Asima is saying option number 4. Okay, what is the option number 4? Option number 4 says, find out the reason for the manager's misconduct. Okay, if the reason are, okay, if like we have discussed that if something which is the manager's misconduct, whatever the reason is, okay, it is a misconduct. And if the reason are to be found to be legitimate in the interest of the workers, reinstate the manager on the condition that it will not be a repeated here. Okay. So I think basically by if you are saying that okay, try to reinstate this manager, so you are actually giving a wrong message among the employees that just keep on doing whatever the wrong things in your companies. Okay, despite the fact that you are doing something wrong in your companies, you are doing some misappropriations or illegal thing in the company, still the company will never fire you. So do you think this can be the answer? Of course not. The answer can't be even option number 4. But if you are actually sending a wrong message, scrap is also a revenue for the company. Yes, it might be a revenue for the company. That's right. Okay. Yes, of course, from selling the scrap, the company gets the revenue. That's right. Okay. So the answers can't be option number 4 also. Now, does anyone have any doubts in option number 4 now? Please ask me. And also with a valid reason also, that if you are not agree with me, my point of view, just tell me. Okay? Because you are actually sending a very, very wrong message among the employees that as long as, if there is, as long as you keep on doing something wrong, still you will never be fired. Now, last option, again 22. Explain the worker that the legal proceedings could be initiated against the manager. The amount they have received through unauthorized channels would be recovered from their wages or dues and request them to return to the normal work as the company cannot compromise on its value. Now, basically, option number 5, because of this, would be recovered from their wages or due and request them. So actually, it will nothing but it will aggravate the situation. Yes or no? It will be very, very extreme. So that's why we can eliminate option number 5. Because if you start, if you are going to, I'll not say not ethical, but I do not know whether any one of you have remembered a few years back, probably I think 2 to 3 years back, in a Gurgaon, in a Maruti, the manager was actually few of the workers. They are on the strike or managers को उन्होंने जला दिया था. Yes, I think Manesar plant. If someone of you who are working in a Maruti, then probably they must be knowing that. Okay. The manager was burnt alive. The workers have burnt alive the managers in that scenario. So if you start doing, because if you start taking the money from the employees and there are hundreds of thousands of employees are there, so it will happen. Yes, and the strike will keep continuing also. So it will actually aggravate the situation. So I think the best option in this case is nothing but option number 3. So the correct answer is option number 3. So only here. So like I said, option number 3 plainly and simply states the right action. The manager cannot be sending a message that such misconduct will not be condoned or tolerated. The value system of the company remains intact. Since workers were not directly responsible, that is very, very important. Workers are not directly responsible. They are not held accountable, but making it clear to them that they are excused in the larger interest of the company, hence the action. Fourth, I have already discussed why it is wrong. And the fifth option also I had already discussed why the answer is wrong. So can we move to the next question? Please tell me. And those who are getting wrong, do not worry about it. Slowly and gradually you can understand. It will be also like a formula based. We will start getting the answers. Now, let's move to the question number 3. I'm going to start the poll. All right. Should I start the poll? Okay, so I'm starting the poll. The poll will be open for 2 minutes. Please start marking your answers. Please start marking your answers. Last 1 minute, 1.5 minutes. Last 1 minute. Okay. 45 seconds. Last 45 seconds. Last 30 seconds. Last 8 seconds. Okay. Time up. All right. So let's start with the discussion. Can you all hear me? Please respond. Great. So I'm just sharing the result of the poll with all of you. 25% of you had marked option number 1. 0% of you had marked option number 2. 57% of you had marked option number 3. And 7% of you had marked option number 4. And 10% of you had marked option number 5. All right, let's start with the discussion now. Very, very interesting set. It says, Aksum is the only working member of her house. Okay. She is facing some problem in her work and the company. All right. She is frequently absent from work. She is also quite insincere in her work. Her work is of poor quality too. Her husband is jobless and wants her to continue working. She does the kitchen work, take care of the kids, and earns a living for the family. As the manager of Aksum's company, how will you solve the problem? Okay. So you need to keep yourself in the position of the manager and the 25% of you said allow. Okay, what is the basic problem here? Okay. What is the basic problem in question number 3? Can anyone tell me? If you try to identify the problem, that she continues working out of pressure from her husband who has no job. She is the only member. And her inefficiency could be, again I am saying her inefficiency could be, that might be one of the reasons. Her inefficiency could be because of the problems at home, or the other reason can be because of her own lack of interest. Any help should try to address both the issues. यही दो reason हो सकते हैं. Either she is facing certain problem at the home, or she is not interested in doing the job at all. At times it happens you are not interested in the job anymore. Let's try to understand here. First option, 25% of you had marked option number 1. So we'll see whether 25% of you are right or wrong. Allow her to work from home and submit the work at periodic interval to the office. If the quality and efficiency improves, provide her with the facilities at her house so that she can continue working. Okay. Okay, now if you look at here, the option number 1, what option number 1 is suggesting, I'll not say it's too regular. Take a what option number 1 is suggesting here is that the home atmosphere is very good for her work. Yes or no? This is what the assumption has been made. allow her to work from home and submit the work at the periodic interval to them. If the quality and efficiency improve, so it means you are already assuming, okay, that the environment at the home is very, very conducive to the work, and that is what totally against what it has been already given in the passage, because in the passage it has been already given, she is facing problem here, she is frequently absent from the work, okay, and actually at home she does a lot of kitchen work, take care of the kids and also living off of the family. So I can reject option number 1 because the reason, because it states that her home atmosphere is conducive to working. Hence, this is not a solution. This is contrary to the what is stated in the information given. So I can reject option number 1. Okay. Any doubts to anyone? Because तुमने अपने आप assume कर लिया कि घर में environment बहुत ही अच्छा है. It's not necessary. Okay. Option number 2. ये तो already none of you had marked this option. So anyway, calls her husband to the work and counseling, offer him a temporary job, and if things improve, make him permanent. Option 2 is direct interference in her personal life, hence not correct. Okay, hence not correct. Now, if I go for option number 3. Option number 3 says explain to her that the company could help her if she could collect herself and manage her work efficiently, otherwise she may lose her job. Okay. Option number 3, that might seems to be a correct answer, as most of you had said that the answer can be the option number 3. So it seems to be a fine, but here actually you are actually giving an ultimatum to her that if your performance is not going to improve, if your performance is not going to improve, you will be fired. So it seems fine. Chalo dekhte if there is some other option which is better than this or not. Give her flexible hours of work, offers a temporary position to her husband. Of course, because of this, it says offers a temporary position to her husband. Okay, company is not responsible for providing a temporary position to her husband. Okay, what if there is no position for her husband in the company? So counsel both of them to manage their lives better. So I can reject option number 4. You all agree with me? Option 4 can't be the answer. 1 can't be the answer, 2 can't be the answer, 4 can't be the answer. Option number 3 seems to be fine. Okay. Fifth says counsel her that she could tell her husband to get a job. Okay. And to help her in the house if she has to continue working, otherwise she may lose her job in the next few months. Now, among the option number 3 and option number 5, can anyone tell me which is the better option? Okay, some of you are saying 3, some of you 5. Can I say that option 3 is actually nothing but it is a subset of option 5? Are you agree with me that option number 3 is actually a subset of option number 5? Yes or no? Okay, because option number 3 also you are saying her that to collect herself and you are giving her ultimatum. But in the option number 5, you are also giving her a counseling. Okay, in addition to her counseling, you are also giving her an ultimatum. So which is the best option? As a manager, just think, which is the best option? No, yes, that's right. So the correct answer should be definitely option number 5. Like Anudeep is saying, doesn't option number 5 interfere in her personal life? No, it's not about interfering her in the personal life at all. Okay. Personal life interference का मतलब क्या है? She is only just giving her the idea. ठीक है ना? She's just counseling. You are just providing a counseling here, Anudeep and Rajendra. Try to understand. You are just giving her a counseling. You are not interfering in the personal life that what has happened between them. Okay. He's simply just giving her a counseling. So ideal, okay, which is more ethical? Option number 3 or option number 5? Like I said, whenever you are in 2 choices which are very, very close to each other, which is the more ethical? Option number 3 or option number 5? Please tell me. Option number 5, because in that case, both the aspect, 3 is practical, 5 is the ideal, yes. And moreover, try to understand that option number 3 is basically, it is a subset of option number 5. Option number 3 is already included in the option number 5. So that's why the better answer should be option number 5. Is that clear? Okay. At times, the Q logic, I do not know, and a lot of people say और एक लॉजिक ये भी होता है कि ओके व्हाट विल बैटमैन डू, ठीक है, व्हाट विल बैटमैन डू, टेल मी, अगर ये दो ऑप्शन में से बैटमैन को सेलेक्ट करना पड़ता, व्हाट विल बैटमैन डू, व्हाट सजेशन बैटमैन डू, प्रोबेबली ऑप्शन नंबर 5. At times in certain, yes, always idea, always idea. So you should go for an ideal situation. So that's why I'll say the correct answer should be option number 5, not option number 3. Is that clear? Can I move to the next question? Okay, let's move to the question number 4. Okay, I'm going to start the poll after 1 minute. The poll will start after 1 minute. So you all can start solving and then I'll start. Okay, I'm going to start the poll now. The poll will be open for 2 minutes. All right, please start. Last 20 seconds. Last 15 seconds. All right. So let me share the result of the poll with all of you. And then 7% of you had said option number 1. Am I audible to all of you? 7% said option number 1. 10% said option number 2. 45% of you are marking option number 3. 10% of you are marking option number 4. And 25% of you are marking option number 5. And 2% of you have not replied. Okay. Let's start with the discussion. It says Rita is a very emotional girl. Try to understand, focus on the word emotional. She's very, very emotional. She is very ambitious and intelligent. She qualified in both the IIT JEE and the CET for MBBS. She opted for MBBS and went to Pondicherry. Okay. However, in a few weeks, she is thinking of, now, she is thinking of, she has not decided still, she is thinking of returning to her house because she is afraid of the ragging. That is the reason. Am I audible to all of you? Please respond. Okay. So, like it says, she is thinking of, she has not decided still. She is just thinking, okay, that I should go back to house or not, because she is completely afraid. According to you, what should Rita do? Okay. 45% of you had marked option number 3. That's very, very good. Okay. Now, option number 3 seems to be right. Okay. It's a correct course of action. But tell me one thing. Most of you are engineering, from the engineering background. Okay. क्या किया था कॉलेज में? What have you done in the college when the ragging has happened? Did you complain to the authority? So it's yes. So I think answers should not be. It's not that easy. Yes. Okay. Because now remember one thing, that she is a very, very emotional girl also. So it is too much to expect from the young girl who has been out of her house for the first time in an unfamiliar city. And to do this, it actually takes a lot of courage. So I think the answer can't be, it is not a practical option. It is not a very much practical option at all. So the answer can't be option number 3, as well as it is very, very extreme also, like Chilupi saying. Okay. So I do not know why you guys are marked, because most of you had gone through this situation. Ideal कैसे है रघु? How is it an ideal? बहुत दिनों के बाद तुम दिखाई दे रहे हो रघु भास्कर. So how it is an ideal situation? It's a practical one. Okay, that you should complain to the authority, and that's perfectly okay. But it will stop any future. But try to understand Manik and Raghu. Okay, as she is a very, very emotional girl, you are going to some unfamiliar cities. Okay, if you are going to some unfamiliar cities, and if you are not able to do anything here, what will you do in such a situation? I am talking about even in the current situation. Let's say you are living at to the certain city and you go to the foreign or at to some other places. Okay? If you go to some other places, some city which is completely new for you, and if you are in a certain problem, then what will you do? किसी भी problem में फंसते हो, तो I think the best way is nothing but probably you will contact your parents or maybe some of your friends whom you are very much aware, and you take a counseling. Yes. So that's why I think the answer, that is the reason that the answer cannot be option number 3. That's the correct reason, man, you have given. That counsel. The counsel is needed here. Okay. So you all agree with me that the answer can't be option number 3 now? Anyone else has any doubt in the option number 3? And do not worry, slowly and gradually you can understand, you will start understanding how to get the correct answer in this limit. Okay. Now tell me what should be the answer. Again, I am giving you the choices. If you want to change your answer, what should be the answer? Okay. Some of you are saying option number 5. She should talk to the other new students in the hostel about her fears and seek advice from them. I think probably if you are going to a college, okay, almost everyone or her friends do be okay. All the new students, they are probably in the same boat. New students का भी तो हाल same ही होगा ना? They too will be also in the same position. That's right, Palak. Like here, new student का हाल भी same होगा. ठीक है. So option number 5 is actually of no help, because the other students are probably in the same boat as her. Besides, they cannot manage the situation as wisely. So option number 5, option number 2. Let's discuss option number 1. She should try to get over her fear of ragging and get back to her studies. No. It does not address the situation. It does not address the issues. It does not offer any solution to the problem. Anjali, it is not offering any solutions. Yes, that's like Anudip is saying perfectly, status quo. जैसा चल रहा है वैसा चलने दो, डर लग रहा है तो ठीक है, डर लगने दो, ठीक है. She should talk to her seniors and make it clear that if she is subjected to ragging, she will complain to the authorities and get them punished. How many of you have tried in your college this thing? If the senior is taking a ragging, probably if you are nothing but, you can say, what was that movie? Three Idiots, Amir Khan, probably if you are an Amir Khan in Three Idiots, you might be, yes, yes, that's it. But not everyone is Amir Khan of Three Idiots. Am I right? So it's very difficult. It is basically, it is nothing but it's a confronting. Okay, you can say you are confronting the seniors, and to confront the seniors, it takes a lot of courage, actually. And she's already scared of ragging. So I think the best way is nothing. She should tell her parents. Okay. Now, again, remember, she is thinking of returning to her house. So she should tell her parents that ragging is prevalent on the campus, and because she is scared of ragging, she is returning home. So in that case, what will happen? That her parents can give a proper counseling to her. So that's why the correct answer should be option number 4. Parents can probably control the situation, and they can offer the support. What kind of the support is needed here. So the correct answer should be option number 4, not 1, 2, 3, or 5. It should be option number 4. So one by one, I'm explaining. Option number 1 is idealistic and advice and does not address her fears or offers about her. Just try to understand. Okay. She should tell her parents that ragging is prevalent on the campus, and because she is scared of ragging, she is returning home. So she is actually talking to problem. That she is returning home, it doesn't mean that she is actually returning home. ठीक है, Tulip? She is actually talking to the parents that I'm planning to return to the home because of this ragging issues. रोहित, रैगिंग की प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं हुई यहाँ पे, but the point is here that try to understand, like I said, which among the 5 options, which is the best option. In this situation, what will happen, that her parents can probably counsel her, because whenever you are in any problem, the best way is nothing, talking to some of your friends or talking to someone to whom you are very, very close. Temporary leave, that's right, man. Okay, the question is what the Rita should do, not, okay, yes, that's right, Rajendra has given a perfect reason. What Rita should do, not solving ragging issues. ठीक है? Okay. And Rohit Chaudhary was saying that, okay, sir, but we assume that ragging is happening. Yes, ragging is happening. That's why, that is only the reason that she is planning to go back to her. अगर ragging होती ही नहीं तो ये question पूछा ही क्यों जाता? Tell me. Try to understand that thing. No? The ragging is happening. That's why she is completely afraid of the ragging. That's why she is thinking of returning to her house. अगर ragging नहीं होती तो then probably she must not be thinking of returning to her house. So now I think that it is clear. Okay. Option number 2 is confrontational in nature, which is all right in its place, but a young girl scared of ragging cannot confront the seniors this way. Okay. Option number 3 is the correct course of action, but it is too much to expect from a young girl who is probably in an unfamiliar city. It takes a lot of courage to do this, hence not a very much practical option. Okay. Option 4 is course because it addresses all the issues. She feels free to open up without fear. Parents can then control the situation and offer her the support she needs. They can even complain to the authorities on her behalf, and so on. Let's move to the next question. Can I move to the next question? Question number 5. All right. I'll start after 2 minutes. The poll will start after 2 minutes. And it will be open for 1 or 2. Okay, I'm starting the poll. The poll will be open for 2 minutes. Last 1 minute. Okay, that's it. Last 15 seconds. All right. So I'm just going to, can you all hear me? Please tell me. Am I audible? So the option, the first option, 8% of you had marked option number 1, 23% of you had marked option number 2, 15% of you had marked option number 3, 10% of you had marked option number 4, and this 41% of you had marked option number 4. Okay. And last option, okay, let's see. And rest of you have not attempted this question. So let's try to understand this. It says luminescent technology has been struggling with filters for several years. So it has been struggling with filters for several years. Raju was one of the most trusted and efficient. Raju is one of the most trusted and efficient supervisors on the software for the last 6 years. One day he was caught with a light bulb. Okay, one day he was caught with a light bulb in his lunch box trying to smuggle it out of the factory. Luminescent technology had always, now this is very, very important, it had always dismissed the workers for the theft. Always. The management this time is in dilemma given the spotless track record of now. Why? Okay, now in the past, whenever someone was caught in the smuggling or some sort of other illegal activity, that person was fired from that company, from the factory. Okay, but this time it was only because of the past performance of Raju, management was not able to decide whether to fire him or not. So the management this time is in dilemma given the spotless track record of Raju. It was also heard that Raju was going through some financial problems owing to his school children. Which of the following would be a decision if you are the manager? Now tell me one thing. Okay, if you are a manager of, there is something, those who are probably working in a certain company, there are some certain core values of a company. Yes or no? How many of you are working professional here? Subham, Timir, Gatwik, Meg, lot of you. Now, each and every company has certain core values. Hota hai. I'm sure that you must have read somewhere. Every company has a certain core values. Yes or no? If you violate the core values of your company, whether company is going to retain you or not, even if your performance is good, please tell me. ठीक है ना. Violating the core values of any company, ठीक है, the company will never accept it. I can give you a lot of examples. ठीक है. For example, let's talk about the Lalit Modi. Do you all know who is Lalit Modi? No, IPL. ठीक है. One of the few person who was behind the IPL. Whether he is present in the company, whether he is a part of IPL now, no. Despite the fact that because of his presence, the uh, IPL is one of the company which has earned a lot of money during the initial days. Yes or no? He was also one of the person behind the brainchild of that IPL. पता होगा सबको? Yes or no? Yes. But still, he is not a part of company. Okay? Why? ठीक है, because he has done certain misappropriations, some things, कुछ भी reason or whatever the reason is that, ठीक है, they are not going to worry about that. Another example, probably I can give you one of the examples that just came into my mind. That is Rajat Gupta. Rajat Gupta, कौन Rajat Gupta? There are a lot of Rajat Gupta. McKinsey वाला, ISB का, yes, that's right. Rajat Gupta also, ठीक है. McKinsey. I can also say one of the political party about कौन सा आप Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Bhushan. They have been also fired from their party, yes or no? Despite the fact that they were one among the founding members of this. There are a lot of similar kind of examples are there. Okay? Because it says that Unison Technology had always dismissed the worker for theft. So if they had always dismissed the workers for the theft, then why Raju should be an exception? Okay? And remember that if the employee is in trouble, they can always come to the manager and they can talk to the manager. So if you are going through certain financial problems, so in that case you can talk, you can come to the manager, you can discuss with the manager. But that is not the solution that you should start doing the smuggling. You should try to smuggle out certain things. So now tell me, what should be the correct answer? Of course, the answer is option number 1. The answer should be option number 1. Chori is not the resolution at all. The correct answer should be option number 1. Like we had discussed that point in the example number 2 also. Second question also. That anything which is done something illegal, that should not be tolerated by any company at all. Okay. So the answer should be option number 1. Fourth, I will dismiss him and a notice will be circulated that Raju has been dismissed for the theft. Why a notice should be circulated? Akshay. It's not necessary. Okay, you are simply dismissing the Raju. Okay, that sends a correct message. Okay, there is no point of humiliating any other person. What's the point of humiliating other person? Okay, you simply dismiss him. That will send a correct message in the company. But if you start writing about every person, okay, that we are doing this one. Management can only dismiss. He can't dismiss him. So 3 is better. 3 is management can only dismiss. I didn't understand the question. Management can only dismiss. Can't dismiss. You are a management, like here it says, Arif, which of the following would be your decision if you are the manager? So basically, manager means you are in that particular position, what to do and what not to do. Okay. So that's why the answer you can dismiss it. You are a part of a management team. When I'm saying if you are the manager, he's working under you, so you have a right. Okay. Of course, Asima, company should forget about the loyalty. I had given you a lot of examples which is happening. Okay. What if you are doing anything which is some sort of legal activities, that should never be tolerated in any company. Okay. Like Rajendra, but Raju के tiffin box में पाया गया है, it is the real culprit or not any proof. ठीक है, Rao, he should be the real culprit. No, he was caught, it has been given. Rajendra. Yes, Abhishek, that's right. No compromise on ethics at all. No compromise. He was caught, it says. It was not found, he was caught. Because he was trying to smuggle it. So that has been already found out. Everything has been found out. So inquiry करने की जरूरत नहीं है ना. Okay. Is that clear, Rajendra? Vasu, can I move ahead to the next question? So the correct answer should be definitely option number 4. So you'll get a lot of ideas by solving a lot of examples. Let's move to question number 6. After 1 minute, I will start with the code. Please start. This is one of the simplest questions. I'm expecting that you also get it correct, right? Okay, I'm starting a poll now. The poll will be open for next 2.5 minutes. Last 1.5 minutes. Okay. All right. Last 5 seconds. Okay. So I'm just, am I audible to all of you? I think this is one of the easiest questions. Question number 1. Let me see. Question number 1, you are saying 13% of you had marked question number 1. Okay, 3% of you had marked question number 2, 5% of you had marked question number 3, 76% of you had marked question number 4, and 0% of you had marked question number, sorry, option number 5, option C. And I say, in this case, I'll agree with whatever the answers, majority answer. The correct answer is, of course, option number 4. This is a common thing. If you are reading the newspaper regularly, this is a common thing which most of the company do in fact. Okay, recent example, I can give you the recent example which I just read in the newspaper a few days back. That is the Jeep Compass. You must have heard about the Compass SUV which has been offered by the Jeep. Yes or no? Okay. They have recalled, they have recalled 2400, not 2400, 1200. Yes, I come to Samsung, so sabko pata hai. They have just recalled 1200 vehicles back because there were certain issues with the airbag. Only few people have complained. Only maybe, I said not even, if they have called 1200 vehicles, so I think maybe the 8-10 लोगों ने complain किया. And the same thing goes for the Samsung Note 7 last year. Yes or no? After getting a lot of complaint, despite the fact that it was a loss for the Samsung, they have recalled everything. Yes, that's right. Okay, what will happen in that case? Let's say if you're not apologizing, and if later on, the people will came to know that this particular company has actually have never discussed all these issues here. Tell me what will happen. The credibility of that company will be lost. Yes or no? So if in the long run, think from the long run, if you want to sustain in the market, then the credibility is very, very important. So if, for example, despite the fact if I'm knowing, that there is some issues with the brakes or anything else in such type of this situation. Okay, chalo abhi dekhta hu. The two things here which are very, very important here. I'll say. Here there are two issues which needs to be addressed. The first issue here is nothing but that is the defective forks. Yes or no? That is the first issue. And the second issue is the credibility of the company. Okay. Now, first option, whenever a complaint of rupture is reported, replace the forks free of cost, but keep quiet otherwise to avoid panic among the customer. So in that case, what about the credibility of that particular company? It will be lost because later on, if let's say if one or two people has complained and suddenly if a lot of people will start complaining and it will come in the news, that these were the issues that few people have faced this particular issues, there were defective forks in some of them, then tell me one thing. What will happen in that case to you? The company's credibility will get lost. And later on, probably no one will try to purchase from that particular company. Okay. So option 1 is incorrect because it does not talk about improving quality. Rather, it offers a temporary solution to the problem. Is that clear? So in option number 5, I think which option? Option number 4, in any case, they are offering a free replacement. And they are also apologize. Okay. Is that clear? Any doubts to anyone now in this question? I think ये सबसे easy था अब तक से. After the first question. After some damage, of course, Shubham, after some damage, no. Try to understand one thing. In the beginning, it might be possible that during the testing, this problem has not been identified. Acha, okay, you are saying why one is wrong. Actually, let's see. Again, option number 3, Rohit. Apologize and replace all the forks for all customers free of cost. Okay. It is talking about only the current law. Okay. Now, try to understand. Puma Tractor is a forklift truck manufacturing company. Let me read it. After a year of manufacturing and distributing forklift trucks of various capacities ranging from 1 to 12 ton lifting capacity, they found that forks or arms used for lifting the load manufactured in a new batch. Okay, it is talking about in a new batch had been fragile at the bend due to manufacturing defect and susceptible to rupture. The company realized that the fragile forks could cost its customers significantly. Okay. However, if it is informed to the customer about the forks, it will lose credibility. Okay. So apologize and replace all the fork for all customers free of cost. So it is talking about respect to replace all the fork for all customers free of cost. Now, but is it necessary that The problem is with all the batches. Okay, the problem is with all the folks. It talks about only one issue, that of the current law. That's why. So option number 4 is better. If there is an any issue, okay, all of them will be tested, and if they whenever in any of the truck, if there is an any issue, it will be replaced. Okay. So it is talking only about the present batch. Can I move to the next one? Current lot में हाँ तो नहीं बनेगा ना. That's why I'm saying a few batch. They found out that the folks who were lifting the load manufactured in a few batch had been fragile at the bend due to the manufacturing defect in few of the batches. हाँ कुछ customers ही होंगे. What do you want to say to them? चलिए. क्यों नहीं credibility affect होगी? ठीक है. मैंने तुम्हारा एडमिशन ले लिया और 5 लेक्चर तुम्हें अटेंड नहीं करने दो, मेरी क्रेडिबिलिटी खराब होगी या नहीं होगी? कुछ भी रीजन से. नितिन सर तो पढ़ाते ही नहीं. ठीक है ना. तो रिमेंबर वन थिंग, इवन वेरी स्मॉल. ठीक है. इवन इफ देयर आर थाउजेंड्स ऑफ दिस वन, क्रेडिबिलिटी हमेशा खराब होगी. इवन इफ वन पर्सन, आई गिव यू वन एग्जांपल. ठीक है. SpiceJet. Okay, a few days back it has happened with the SpiceJet, or I do not know. कौन सा example था? In certain airlines there was a certain issues. Indigo ना? There is a Indigo in Delhi airport and Jet Air. ठीक है. Because of one person, ठीक है, if they do not apologize, पूरी की पूरी credibility lost हो जाती है ना कंपनी की. Okay. Because if the later on, if there is a, let's say out of 100 trucks, if there is a issue with 4 to 5 trucks, it might be possible that later on, okay, in the other 95 trucks, the same issue will exist. So it's better to take a precautions and call all of them, and if there is certain issues, replace them. उसमें तुम्हारी credibility खराब नहीं होगी. Your credibility will actually improve. Okay. At least people will start saying, okay, that this is the one company which actually think about the customer, and if they found that something has defected, okay, they are going to improve that. So the credibility will not lose. If they are not doing anything, then only the credibility will be lost. Can you move to the next person? Okay, yes, try to solve question number 70. I'll start the poll after 1 minute. Okay, the poll has started now. You can start marking the answer. Okay, last 20 seconds. All right. So I'm just going to share the result of the poll. 21% of you had said the answer is option number. Okay, 5% of you had marked option number 2, 54% of you had marked option number 3, 5% of you had marked option number 4, 10% of you had marked option number 5. Let's see. Am I audible to all of you? Now let's try to discuss. It says a 19-year-old woman is being, okay, how many of, okay, is there anyone whose parents is a doctor? Who's sitting here? तुम्हें से किसी के parents doctor हैं? Okay. A 19-year-old woman is being treated for a serious kidney disease. She is currently on a dialysis machine, but treatment is steadily decreasing in efficacy. Before her condition declines any further, the physician suggests family members undergo tests to determine tissue compatibility to transplanted kidney. Only the brother, now it says, only the brother shows a compatibility. Only the brother shows a degree of compatibility high enough to be considered as a candidate. The physician meets the brother alone to discuss the risk and benefits of the operation. Although agreeing to be tested, although agreeing to be tested, it says the brother decides not to donate a kidney after weighing the report's various alternatives because of the risk, and because, as he puts it, he doesn't feel because of the risk, and because, as he puts it, he doesn't feel he and his sister have ever been close enough that they would ever take that type of a response. The physician repeats the full explanation of risk involved and urges him to rethink his decision because of the serious nature of his sister's illness with increasingly little time to spare. The brother remains adamant he will refuse. What should physician tell his kidney patient? Okay. Most of you had marked option number C. The physician should not directly talk to the patient but explain the situation to the family members who may then convey it to a patient. Okay. क्या होना चाहिए आंसर? Please tell me. Now there is something called as doctor-patient confidentiality. पेशेंट को स्टेट में डॉक्टर्स कभी नहीं बताते हैं. अच्छा, ये किसने बोला? Okay. Answer is option number 2. Okay, let's discuss it. Now, first of all, you need to understand one thing. ठीक है. First of all, tell me one thing. ठीक है. So मुझे एक चीज बताओ ना. Just tell me one thing first of all, which is very very important for you to understand here. For a doctor, a kidney needs to be available. Yes or no? You all agree with me that there should be a kidney? Yes or no? Kidney available होना चाहिए. ठीक है. Can he force anyone to donate a kidney? No. ठीक है. What is his duty? His duty is nothing that he should be transparent in all his dealings. ठीक है. For all his concern, जो भी है, he should be very very much transparent. Yes or no? So tell me, can he tell the truth about her brother to her sister? No. ठीक है. Because what will happen if he tells, ठीक है, if he tells the sister the truth about her brother openly, ठीक है, then you can say there is a certain amount of breach of confidentiality between the doctor and his patient. In that case, the patient is nothing but the brother. Okay, if the brother is adamant and if the brother did not want to donate his kidney, ठीक है, so in that scenario, ठीक है, he cannot force him to do that. and again he cannot tell the other person. He can simply tell, okay, the kidney is not available. Yes, confidential hota hai, that's right, as Tulip had said, that name confidential hota hai. In most of the cases it is always confidential. Okay, it is always confidential. Okay, so the doctor cannot tell the patient, that is to her sister directly, that his brother is not giving anything. Is that clear? You all agree with me? It is always be confidential. Donor names are always kept confidential unless he reveals himself his name. Yeah, otherwise it is always kept confidential. Okay? And again, so with that logic, I don't think what should be the better option. Now tell me if you want to change your answers. Again, I'll give you other reasons also. The correct answer is of course option number 1. That's right. The correct answer is of course option number 1. This is the correct answer. Okay, I'll come to 5 and 3 also, where I'll explain it with the other logic also. Another thing, like if you get the physician should explain to the patient that transplant is not possible because her brother, okay, like I already told you, the answer can't be option number 2 because there is a certain confidentiality among the patient and everything, so answer can't be option number 2. Option number 4, the physician should not directly to the patient but request the brother to explain his position to the patient. No. Why should he told what to do and what not to do? The physician should, option number 5, the physician should tell the patient that according to the test he has conducted among the family members. Okay. Now he has conducted among the family members, like I already told you. There is a confidential, it has to be always kept confidential. So if the family members do not want to give their kidney, why should he tell all these things to the patient? Because it will nothing but it will create an acrimony among the family members. ना घर वाले आपस में लड़ाई करना शुरू कर देंगे. Yes or no? So option number 5 can't be the answer. And the same, for the same reason, the answer can't be option number 3 also. Okay. For the same reason, the answer can't be option number 3 also. That explain the situation to the family members who may they convey it to. Which, क्या बता दो again पूछा, please tell me. Therefore, option number 3 says the physician should not directly talk to the patient but explain the situations to the family members, who may they convey it to the patients. It says explain the situation to the family members. वो क्या situations बताएंगे family members को? What should he explain the situation to the family members? That okay, that his brother is adamant and he do not want to give his kidney. ये सिचुएशन अपने पूरे फैमिली को बता दो, बिकॉज इन दैट केस व्हाट विल हैपन, द फैमिली मेंबर्स विल स्टार्ट, उनके रिलेशनशिप आपस में खराब हो जाएंगे ना. So what is kidney is available, maybe our family members can convince her brother, but like I already told you, there is something which is always kept confidential. There is a doctor-patient confidentiality agreement होता है ना. If her brother is not willing to give, how can doctor go to the other members? Please try to understand, Subhashis. You cannot reveal the name of the person at all. You must have heard that, okay, that certain person has got a certain, okay, organs from here and there. The name is always kept confidential. Is that clear now? Any doubts to anyone now in the option number 3 and 5? So you cannot disclose all these things to this one. किसी का नहीं होता है ना, unless the person itself is willing to disclose his name, Asima. Remember one thing. नहीं होता है आसिमा, लाइफ डोनर का भी नाम नहीं होता है. फैमिली मेंबर, अगर फैमिली मेंबर खुद आपस में अगर एक दूसरे को बता दे, then that is perfectly okay. Otherwise, doctor cannot disclose the name. Therefore, he can never disclose the name. Here you are talking about the doctor. What should physician tell his kidney patient? And again, moreover, think in this way. What should the physician tell his kidney patient? तो क्या वो kidney patient को क्या बोलेगा ये? है ना क्वेश्चन? तो आंसर ऑप्शन नंबर 3 हाउ कैन बी द आंसर? ही इज टॉकिंग टू द फैमिली मेंबर्स, नॉट टू हिज किडनी पेशेंट. The question is talking about what should he tell to the kidney patient. Okay, that is again you can reject because of this thing also. Any doubts to anyone now in question number 7? Can I move to the next question? I'll discuss two more questions. First, isn't, okay, someone has asked, yes or sir, isn't one subset of a 5? No, like again, yes or it is like saying this one again, you are disclosing the name of the person. Like I said, doctor can never disclose the name of the person. Okay. For doctors, the important thing is that the kidney should be available. That's it. And since the kidney is not available, okay, kidney is not available, so it's better that you should tell directly to the patient that the kidney is not available. कि kidney is available नहीं है. अब kidney क्यों available नहीं है? Why should I tell him? Whenever the kidney is available, the operation will happen. That's it. Because nowadays, I do not know whether you know or not, a lot of people go to Sri Lanka and some other places, some other Asian countries for the kidney transplant. जाते हैं ना? ठीक है. उनके घर वाले भी तो दे सकते हैं ना, but still they go to the some these places. So anyway, alright. And I think Tulip must have asked. Tulip can also discuss with his parents. They are doctors, and seeing that number 1 is answered. All right. Question number 8. That's it. Try to solve this question, all of you. After 1 minute, I will start with the poll. Okay, I'm starting the poll. You can start marking your answers. Okay, let me share the result of the poll with all of you. First of all, the 29% of you had marked option 1, 3% of you had marked option number 2, 18% of you had marked option number 3, 16, 11% of you had marked option number 4, and 18% of you this. Move, okay, 21% of you have not attempted this question at all. You have left it. Okay, so let's see the reason that you have not attempted. Recently, a farmer committed self-immolation in full view in front of TV cameras to highlight the government apathy towards farmers. The cameraman and the reporters who were present, now it is important. The cameraman and the reporters who were present not only did nothing to save him, but filmed the entire event and telecast it in media. Under the prevailing law in India, in case of this kind, the reporters and cameramen are not liable for failing to stop the crime. Should the law be changed so as to impose liability among the bystanders, such as reporters or cameramen in the preceding situation? Most of you are saying option number 1. The law should be changed in order that the bystander who witnessed such crimes without trying to save the victims would be made liable for the crime, because by failing to prevent the crime, they have failed the moral responsibility of the citizens. Okay, now in the option number 1, the problem with the option number 1 is that it is saying that it is assuming that all the bystanders, anyone who is a bystander, they are able to prevent a crime. Is it possible? Okay, there can be a lot of reasons for which the bystander is not able to prevent a crime. Yes or no? In this case, you are assuming that okay, that everyone is able to prevent a crime. Hoga kya? Please tell me. No. So that's why the answer. Yes, that's right. Like affirmation. What if the bystander is a disabled person? Okay. And there can be a lot of reasons that bystander will not be able to do this. So I can say the answer can't be option number 1. Okay. Option number 1 cannot be a sufficient reason to change the law and make the bystander liable, because citizens may be unable to prevent a crime for various reasons, and reasons which is beyond their control or capacity. You cannot prevent the crime in almost all situations. So that's why the answer is not option number 1. Now, any doubts to anyone in the option number 1? Please tell me. Most of you are not agree with this. The law should be changed to impose liability on the bystander, because it would help to minimize the patches among the citizens towards such crimes. Again, nahi. Option number 3. Now, I think the option number 3 is the best reason. The reason being, law should be changed to impose liability on the bystander, such as the reporter or cameraman, in the preceding situation, because now, and the reason is also given. Okay. It should be imposed on the reporters and cameramen in the preceding, because they did not act out of an intention to exploit the situation commercially. Okay. Because they wanted to exploit this situation commercially, and that is one of the reasons that they are not doing anything. Otherwise, they might be able to save such type of, or they might be able to prevent such type of the event. But just to exploit the situations, they are not doing anything. So I think the answer should be option number 3. We can go for option number 4 or 5. The law should not be changed to impose liability on the bystander, because it is the responsibility of the police and the administration to prevent crimes and not that of an ordinary citizen. Okay, nahin, ye to bahut hi common justification hai. I don't think this should be the answer. Fifth, the law should be changed to impose liability on the bystander only if he or she fails to report to the crime to the police and the concerned authorities. Again, the same reason on the basis of which I have deleted option number 1. There can be various reasons on the basis of which it might be possible that the people are not complaining about this situation. Answer should be option number 3. Because in this case, they are actually trying to exploit the situation commercially. Any doubts to anyone in option number, in any of the options, please ask me. Easy tha ye karna chahiye tha. All of you should have got this answer. I do not know why only 18% of you got it right. Clear to all of you? Any points you want to discuss with me, please tell me. No. Can I move to the next question? The last question for day. Try this. I'll start the poll after 2. Okay, I'm starting the poll now. Please start marking your answers. Please. Last 50 seconds. Last 10 seconds. Last 15 seconds. Stop. All right, let's start. Am I audible to all of you? 24% of you had marked option number 1. 3% of you had marked option number 2. 24% of you had marked option number 3. 8% of you had marked option number 4. 21% of you had marked option number 5. And 21% of you have left this question. All right, let's start with the discussion. Suppose that 6 doctors are discovered by the income tax department, each to have understand his or her taxable income by over 25 lakhs. As legal advisors to the IT department, Mr. X and Y agree that all six must pay tax on the income they fail to display it at appropriately high rates on that income and substantial financial penalties. Okay. So tell me one thing, should the penalties be different for different people or should it be same for everyone? Same, no? Irrespective of what background they are. Okay, the law should be same for everyone. At high rate on that income and substantial financial penalties. Mr. X and Mr. Y disagree. However, concerning the criminal prosecution of the director, Mr. X believes that all six should be prosecuted and sent to prison. Mr. Y, however, believes that only two of the doctors should be prosecuted on the grounds that the community cannot afford to lose any more than 4 doctors at this time. The 6 doctors all live in a predominantly rural regions with a limited sources for medical care. Mr. X disagrees strongly. He viewed the needs of the community for the medical practitioner as irrelevant to the decision to prosecute. Is it an ideal situation? Is it an ideal decision by Mr. X that he views the community for the medical practitioner as irrelevant? No. This is not an idealistic solution. We need to think for what will happen if all the people, if the doctors goes inside the jail, what will happen to the people? And especially, yes. So he contends that the evidence of criminal violations of the tax code against all six doctors is equally strong. That is okay. And thus they shall all be prosecuted. Now I need to choose the best option among the given. First, I would agree with Mr. X that apart from making the payment at appropriately high rates on the undisclosed income and substantial financial penalties, all six must be sent to the prison as per the existing provision of the law. Seems to be right, but tell me one thing, if all the 6 people, if all the 6 doctors will be sent to the prison, then what will happen to the people in those rural areas? Because it is given, let me highlight that line also, that is very, very important. 6 doctors all live in predominantly rural region with a limited resource for medical care. So don't you think that first of all we should investigate that what will happen if all the 6 doctors will go, whether we can bring few more doctors in these rural areas or not? वैसे भी doctors की तो कमी रहती है. Yes or no? So I think it's better that we should first of all investigate the matter. That what will happen if these doctors, if there is no doctor there. So option number 1 होना चाहिए क्या answer? Now tell me. Or we'll see that if there is some, if it might be possible, but let's see if there is some other options or not. Second option, I would agree with Mr. Y. Yes, that is given here. So that, okay, Bharat, we do not know. There might be few more doctors. So that's why I think it's better to first of all investigate the matter that how many more doctors are there, or whether by removing these doctors, by removing these doctors, what will happen to those patients in those rural areas. So first of all, that we should do. Think that way. That's right, you are right. I would agree that with Mr. Y that all 6 should be made to pay appropriately high rate on the undisclosed income here. But only 2 of them should be prosecuted. I think the law should be equal. Why only 2? On what criteria you are going to select the 2? 6C2 तो नहीं करोगे ना कि out of the 6 people, 2 people can be selected in how many ways? 6C2, which is equal to how much? 15 ways. So which of the 15 ways you are going to decide? तो ये भी नहीं हो सकता option number 2. ठीक है. Third, I would agree with Mr. Y that all 6 should be made to pay appropriately high rate on the undisclosed income and the substantial financial penalties as restitution, but none of them should be prosecuted and sent to jail. ये भी नहीं होना चाहिए. Option number 4, I would agree with Mr. X and Y about the recovery of the restitution and penalties ascertained through documentation and research the lack of medical resources in the rural area and how imprisonment would impact this fact. Now this is important. Prosecute and give the maximum number of doctors. Okay. And 5 says, I would agree with Mr. X and Y about the recovery and this. Okay. Prosecute and jail that. Now tell me what should be better. तुम्हारे सामने है. I think option number 4 and 5 में there is only one difference. There is a difference of only one line in option number 4 and 5. ठीक है? That in option number 5 this line is here. Otherwise, okay. Let me highlight. If not acceptable, prosecute and jail all the 6. Otherwise, in option number 4 and 5, rest of all the lines are same. Prosecute and jail the maximum number of doctors. If not acceptable, prosecute and jail all the 6. वो आंसर तो इन्हीं दोनों में से कोई एक होगा, because this here you are actually investigating the matter and then on the basis of that you are going to decide. But which is the better option, option number 4 or option number 5? I think the answer should be actually option number 4. Now, क्यों नहीं भेज सकते शुभम? We can send, because it says prosecute and jail the maximum number of doctors. Option number 4, can I say option number 4 is the subset of option number 5? Because the law should be ideally equal for everyone. Option 4 is actually a subset of option number 5. So in that case, it's better to go with option number 5. Okay? Because on what grounds you are going to decide, okay, if I am trying to say that I will try to set the maximum number of doctors to the jail, I decide that out of 6, 3 doctors can be sent to the jail. So which 3 doctors can be sent to the jail? Because if it is not acceptable, then it's better to prosecute and jail all the 6. Otherwise, किसी को भी मत भेजो. Or in any case, option number 4 is a subset of option number 5. So in that case, it's better to select option number 5. वहाँ पे दोनों options रहते तुम्हारे पास. Is that clear? So I will go with option number 5 here instead of 4. Okay. Now, any doubts to anyone? Now, try to understand one thing for the decision making. Decision making comes with a regular practice here. First line of option number 5. First line of option number 5 says, just a minute. Last line बताया ना? It says, if not acceptable, prosecute and jail all the 6. For example, if you have decided that I am going to send a maximum number of doctors, and out of 6 doctors, I will send 4 doctors, and then the situation becomes worse. That okay, how to decide which 4 doctors I am going to send? Okay. So in that case, you can probably send all the 6, or you cannot say none of any of the doctor at all. So it's better to go with this. Now, my advice to if it is okay, if legally, okay, how can you say that it is not a crime? What has happened to the Sahara boss? Who is the boss of the Sahara? क्या नाम है उसका? I just forget the name of the person. Subrato Banerjee. He's in the jail from the last so many years, 2 to 3 years. Isn't it Sahil Gupta? Why is he in the jail? Despite the fact he is ready to pay he's ready for paying all the penalties and everything, but he is still in the jail, na? So penalized to honge na. If you are doing any financial misappropriations and if there is a law for that, तो फिर वो तो होगा ना, they were penalized. Okay? It's a crime actually. Hiding the money is a crime. आज की डेट में अगर इनकम टैक्स की रेट बढ़ती है and if someone get caught, what will happen? जेल तो होती है ना उन्हें. Yes or no? So that's it. Okay. So what I was telling you that in the next session of this, in the next session of decision making, we are going to discuss the set based. I'll give one set followed by a 4 to 5 questions. So in today's session, all the questions were single. And do not worry about that. If you're not getting your answers right, just wait for 3-4 sessions so that you get an idea how to select on what criteria we are rejecting the option. Because more or less, same thing works for almost all the questions. So you'll get a complete idea. धीरे-धीरे समझ में आने लग जाएगा कि why we should reject, if you are rejecting any option, what is the reason behind rejecting any option. Okay, so let's take a break, not a break. The tomorrow session, that is XAT 2017 last year का English का section discuss होगा, all the questions will be discussed. Okay, so be ready at 9 o'clock. Recordings will be uploaded. Yes, I'm going to do that, Anujit, do not worry. So recordings will be uploaded by tomorrow morning, today's session. Okay, I'll upload first slide only questions, then videos, and then the solution with the solutions. Okay. I have uploaded the videos of the quant, few papers of the quant, and I upload the slides by tonight. Okay, guys. So good night to all of you, and we'll meet tomorrow. And please set a target for yourself. All of you need to set a target for yourself. कि 7 तारीख तक तुम्हें क्या-क्या करना है. That's very very important to decide. Like मैंने भी एक अपना एक टारगेट बनाया कि मुझे क्या-क्या करना है. तुम सबको भी एक अपना टारगेट बनाना चाहिए. For everything, whatever you are doing in life, what all resources you are going to solve, what all material you are going to solve, everything. So good night to all of you. In case you had any doubts, you can discuss with me. Those who have joined late, like Rachit and Shefali and anyone else, Raghu, there is an option you can also download the mobile app. Mobile app पे भी videos देख सकते हो. So app download कर लेना website से, check कर लेना. The link is given on the website for iOS as well as Android. I think around roughly approximately 20 to 22 questions, if I got it right, we should be able to clear the cutoff of the CAT. 20 to 22 questions. Okay. All right. So I'm going to
music